All right, this is the Department of Justice Antitrust Division. Um, Prefixing bid rigging market allocation schemes, what they are and what to look for. Introduction. American counsel have the right to expect benefits, free and open competition, the best goods, services at the lowest price at the lowest prices. Publicly private organization often rely on the competitive bidding profit to keep it at the end. Competitive prices only works, however, when competitors set price honestly and independently. When the competitor concludes prices are inflated, customers cheated, price fixing, bid rigging, other forms of collusion, illegal, subject for the criminal prosecution antitrust division in the United States Department of Justice. In recent years, the antitrust division successfully prosecuted regional, national, and international conspiracies affecting the construction, agricultural product manufacturing, service industry, consumer products, and many other sectors of the economy. Many of these prosecutions resulted from information covered by the members of the general public who reported information. Antitrust division work together. We continue the effect of protecting, promote free, open competition marketplace of America. Your Federal Antitrust Enforcement Act in the 1890 Sherman Act is among our country's most important and during peaceful economic legislation. Sherman Act prohibits agreement among competitors to fix price with rigged bids, engaged in the other anti-competitive activity. Criminal prosecution of Sherman Act violation responsible for the Antitrust Division, United States Department of Justice violate with the Sherman Act is a felony punishable for a corporation to fine up to $100 million, for individuals to fine up to $1 million or 10 years in imprisonment, or both. Under some circumstances, the maximum potential fine may be increased above the Sherman Act maximum. Twice the gain or loss involved with additional collusion among the competitors may constitute violation of mail of the wire fraud statute or false statement statute or federal felony statutes, which antitrust division prosecutes. In addition, receipt of the criminal sentence of the corporation, individual convicted of the Sherman Act violation may be under restitution victims for all overcharged victims of the bid rigging, price fixing conspiracies. Also make civil recovery up to three times the amount of damage suffered. Forms of conclusion. Most criminal antitrust prosecution involve price fixing. Most criminal antitrust prosecution involve price fixing, bid rigging, or market division allocation schemes. Each of these form collusions may be prosecuted criminally when they occurred, at least in part, within the past 5 years. Providing such a crime does not require to show that the conspirator entered into the formal written express agreement. Price fixing, bid rigging, or other collusive agreements can be established either by direct evidence, such as testimony of a participant, or by circumstantial evidence, such as suspicious bid patterns, travel expense reports, telephone records, business diary entries. Under the law, the price fixing rigging schemes are per se violation of Sherman Act. This means that they are such conclusive scheme that has been established cannot be justified under the law. Agreements of evidence, for the example, agreed upon price, reasonable for the agreement is necessary to prevent eliminating price cutting or renewous competition. And conspirators who merely try to make sure that each of the good fair share of the market. Alright, then over here on the side it says a corporation individual select convicted of Sherman Act violation may be ordered to restitution. Victims of or overall charges, victims of bid rigging, price fixing conspiracies also may seek civil recovery of the 3 times the amount of damage suffered. Price fixing. Price fixing is agreement between among competitors, rise, fix, otherwise maintain prices at which goods or services are sold. It's not necessary that the competitors agree to charge exactly the same price, or that every competitor in the given industry join in the conspiracy. Price fixing can take many forms. Any agreement that restricts price competition violates the law. Other examples of price fixing agreements include those to establish a price discounts, hold price firm, eliminate reduced discounts, adopt standard formula for computing prices, maintaining certain price differentials between different types and size and quantity of the products, adhere to minimum fee or practice schedules, fixed credit terms, non-advisory, adversity prices. In many cases, participants, price fixing conspiracy also establish the same type of policy mechanism to make sure that everyone adheres to the agreement. Bid rigging is the way of conspiring competitors effectively raise prices wherever the purchase, often federal, state, local governments. Effectively raise prices where purchasers, often federal, state, local governments, acquire goods or services by soliciting competing bids. Essentially, competitors agree with the advance who will submit the winning bid on the contract by being let through the competitive bidding process. As with the price fixing, it's not necessarily that all the bid participants in conspiracy. Bid rigging also takes many forms of the bid rigging conspiracy, usually fall into one or more of the following categories. Bid suppression. In bid suppression schemes where one or more competitors otherwise would be expected to bid who have previously bid agree to refrain from any withdrawal of previously submitted bids so that they designated winning competitors' bid will be accepted. Complementary bidding, also known as cover or courtesy bidding, occurs when some competitors agree to submit bids that either are too high to be accepted or certain special terms that will not acceptable to the buyer. Such bids are not intended to secure the buyer's acceptance, but are merely designated to give the appearance of genuine competitive bidding. Complementary bidding schemes are most frequently occurs on forms of the bid rigging, defraud, purchase with creating appearance for the competition, concealed with secretly inflated prices. Bid rotation. Bid rotation schemes. All the material sub-bid takes term of the lower bidder. The term of the rotation may vary. For example, the bidders make term of the contract with according to size of the contract, with the allocating equals amounts of the conspirator, the allocating volume with the corresponding size to each for the conspirator. Company. A strict bid rotation pattern defines the law of chance and suggests conclusion is taking place. Subcontracting agreements are often part of the bid rigging scheme. Competitors agree not to bid or to submit a losing bid. Frequently receive subcontractors or supply contracts in exchange for a successful lower bidder. Some schemes and low bidder will agree to withdraw its bid in its favor of the next lower bidder in exchange for lucrative subcontract that divides the illegally obtained higher price between them. Almost all the forms of bid rigging schemes have one thing in common: an agreement among all of the bidders who predetermines the winning bidder and limited to eliminate the competition among the conspiring vendors. Market division allocation schemes with agreement with the competitor that divide markets within themselves. With the scheme of the competing firms allocate with the specific customer and take customer products territories among themselves. For example, one competitor will be allowed to sell the bid on contracts less certain customers type the customers, and in return he or she will not sell or bid on contracts let by the customer allocated to the other competitors. In other schemes, competitors agree to sell only the customers in certain geographical areas, refuse to sell or quote intentionally with a high price to their customers in geographical area located with conspiracy companies. For detecting bid rigging, price fixing, and other type collusion. Bid rigging, price fixing, or other collusion may be very difficult to detect. Collusive agreements are usually reached in secret with only participants having the knowledge of the scheme. However, the suspicions may be aroused unusual bidding practice patterns or something the vendor says or does. Bidder price patterns. Certain patterns by bidding or price conduct seem the odds of the competitive market suggest possibility of conclusion. Bid same company always wins a particular procurement. This will be more suspicious than one or more companies continually submitting unsuccessful bids. The same supplier submits bids. Each company seems to take a turn being the successful bidder. Some bids are much higher published price lists previous than bids on the same firm's engineering cost elements. Fewer than normal number of competitors submit bids. Fewer than the normal number of competitors subbids. Company appears to be bidding substantially higher than some bids. The other bids with no apparent cost difference due to the accountant disparity. Bid price drops whenever a new or infrequent bidder submits a bid. A successful bid subcontract works to competitors that submitted unsuccessful bids on the same project. A company withdraws successful bids and subsequently subcontract work by a new winning contract. Identical prices may indicate price fixing conspiracy, especially when prices stay identical for a long period of time. Prices versus previously were different. Price increases don't appear to be supported by increased costs. Discount eliminated, especially market value where discount historically were given. Vendors are charged a higher price to local customer than to distant customer. They may indicate local price or fixed. Suspicious statements or behavior when a vendor collude to try to keep the agreement secret, and occasional slips, carelessness may be tipped off of the collusion. Additional certain pattern for the statement by bidders of the employees suggest the possibility of the collusion. Be alert following the situation. Each of the trigger with a successful criminal antitrust prosecution. The proposal bid form submitted with the different vendors contain irregularities such as identical calculations, spelling errors, or a similar handwriting, typeface, or stationery that may be indicated that the designated lower bidder may have prepared some or all losing vendor bids. Bid practices documents contain whiteouts, other physical alterations indicating last-minute price changes. The company requests bid package itself, and the competitor submits both it and other bids. Company submits a bid when it is incapable of successfully performing the contract like a complimentary bid. Company brings multi-bids to bid opening and submits it bid only after trying to determine what else bidding. A bidder and salesperson makes any reference to industry-wide association price schedules, any statement indicating advanced non-public knowledge of the competitor pricing, statement to affect particular customer with the contract belongs to certain vendors, statements for that a bid was courtesy, complimentary, token, or cover bid, any statement indicating the vendors have discussed price among themselves or have reached an understanding about prices. Caution about indicators of collusion. While these indicators may arouse suspicion of collusion, but there are no proof of the collusion. For example, the bid that came in well above the estimate may indicate the conclusion, simply incorrect estimate. Also, bidders can lawfully submit intentionally high bid that does not think will be successful for its own independent business reasons, such as being too busy to handle the work, but wanting to stay on the bidder's list only when a company submits an intentionally high bid because of an agreement with a competitor does an antitrust violation exists. The indicator of collusion merely call for further investigation to determine whether the collusion existing, whether the incident explanation events of the question. Conditions favorable to conclusion. While collusions can occur with almost industry, but the most likely to occur with some in the industry and others, indicator collusions may be more meaningful with the industry conclusion. Conditions are favorable to conclusion. Collusion is more likely to occur if there are few sellers. The fewer the number of sellers, the easier it is for them to get together, agree on the price, bid, customer, and territories. Collusion may also occur when the number of firms in fairly large, small group of the major sell, with the rest of the fringe sellers who control only a small fraction of the market. The probability of collusion increase with the other products can easily be substituted with the product in question, or if the restricted specification product being procured. More standardized product is easier for the competing firms to reach with agreement. The common price structure with a much harder to agree with the other forms of competition, so for the design for each quality or services. Repetitive purchase may increase the chance of collusion as vendors may become familiar with the other buyers' future contacts, provide opportunity for the competitors to share work. Collusion is more likely competitors know each other well through social connection, trade association, legitimate business contact, shifting employment from one company to another. Bidders would congregate in the same building in town to submit their bids, have easy opportunity, last-minute communications. Alright, over here, antitrust violation is a serious crime that can cost companies hundreds of millions of dollars in fines and can send executive jail to 5 to 10 years. Conspiracies are their nature, secret and difficult, and the tech antitrust division needs your help to uncover them and bring them to your attention. To our attention. What you can do, antitrust violation is a serious crime. Most of the company, hundreds of millions of dollars fines can send the executive to jail for 10 years. Company. These conspiracies are by nature of secret and difficult to detect. Antitrust division, you need your help to uncover bringing them to our attention. Think of a possible violation. Just want more information about what we do. Listen, complaint center, antitrust division, antitrust complaints, us.just.gov. Phone 1-888-647-3258, toll free, U.S. Canada, or 10202-307-2040, Civil Civilian Complaint Center, Antitrust Division, U.S. Department of Justice, 950 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest, Suite 3322, Washington, D.C. 20530. Alright, that was a small introduction to price fixing, big rigging, market allocation schemes by the Department of Justice, Antitrust Division.